Okay, thanks everyone for sharing. Love to see where everyone is dialing in from, and especially love seeing how people are using the platform. So thanks for sharing that. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but we are going to kick off with just a few housekeeping items. The first being that if you have questions throughout today's class, I ask that you place them into the Q&A chat section. So there's a chat and then there's a Q&A chat section. This will allow our team, who is also on with us, I have a couple of colleagues on from the Healthie team that will help to answer questions in the Q&A chat section today. Okay, so the Q&A section helps to keep things organized. It helps you to see the exact answer that is directly tied to the question that you asked. Whereas the chat section sometimes can get a little bit confusing with answers and questions kind of mixing up all over the place. So if you're able to use the chat section, that would be wonderful. And the other thing I'll note is that if you do have any account specific or technical questions, we ask that you direct those to our support team at hello@gethealthy.com so that they can take a closer look at your specific account and assist you from there. All right. We're going to go ahead and kick off today's class. Again, thank you everyone for joining. We are always so excited to see our customers joining these live classes. And today we will be talking through how to create, host, and sell a webinar with Healthie. My name is Jen. I am on the customer success team. And as I briefly mentioned, as everyone else was chatting with where they're dialing in from, I am dialing in from the state of New York, beautiful upstate New York. So again, a little bit jealous to see those North, South Carolina, and Florida participants. Maybe your weather is a bit nicer than ours is up here upstate. All right, so as we are talking through how to offer and sell webinars today, we're going to touch on several different points, being, of course, how to create a webinar or create a group session in Healthie. We're going to walk through how to add those sessions to your calendar so that you can set specific dates and times to when you're offering those, and a few additional items like how to offer those through client packages so that you can sell them. You can offer promo codes for your attendees when they're signing up for those sessions. And also, if you would like to, how to schedule things like satisfaction surveys or other types of offerings or forums to go out after your webinars. So again, as I mentioned, if you have questions on the topics I'm covering as I go, drop them in the Q&A section of Zoom, and our team will be answering those as we run through today's class. I'm going to go ahead and first switch screens. So I'm going to open up my Healthie portal here. And I'm also going to be turning off my camera just so that I can see my Healthie portal alone, but I'll pop back in and turn my camera back on at the end of class to go through any additional outstanding questions or anything like that as we wrap up. All right, so as I mentioned, we are first going to be starting with how to create your webinar or your group session in Healthie. So that really starts with creating the appointment type in your Healthie calendar. So the first thing I'm going to do is navigate to my calendar page. And from here, I have this More button in the upper right-hand corner. And this is an easy way to get to a lot of my calendar settings and features and functionalities here. So under More, I'm going to click into my appointment types page. And this is where we are going to create the actual appointment type for our webinar or for our group session. So from here, I'll go ahead and add a new appointment type. And we'll name this, maybe I'm going to plan ahead. I'm going to name this my May webinar. And perhaps I'll market it all throughout April and sell that webinar in a package. And then in May, I'll go ahead and host this session. So the first field here, of course, is naming our session or our appointment type. The next one is the ability to place a client into a client group when they book this appointment type. So you have the option to place them into a client group. And maybe in this case, I have a leads client group where I can keep a list of any clients that are interested, perhaps in my one-on-one offerings or something like that. So I can place them into that group when they book the session type. And then this next option here is very important for a group session or a webinar. This is telling the Healthie system that this is a group appointment. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we check group appointment. Next, we have our visibility settings, or our settings around which of our active clients can book this appointment type. So if I have this left as clients can book this appointment type, all of my Healthie clients in their portal would be able to see this and book it. But I can toggle that down to say, maybe only clients in a specific client group or no client group at all can see this in their portal, but I'll just go ahead and leave this visible to all of my clients. The option here as well to enable something like a wait list if you want to toggle that on for your webinar. And then, of course, the important information of setting the length to our session. So this is saying how much time are we going to block off on our calendar for this. And so in this case, I'll go ahead and make this a 45-minute appointment. And I'm also going to toggle my contact types here. So for this is going to be a telehealth webinar. So I'll go ahead and make sure that I just have my video call option here for that contact type. I am going to touch on a few of these items down here as well, which are scheduling forms to go out after booking or before an appointment or after an appointment. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and add my appointment type, and then we are going to navigate over to forms, and so that I can walk through what type of forms you may want to add here. This is also where, let's say, if, for example, you want to send out something like an informed consent for group counseling, or any other agreements or forms that need to be filled out or signed prior to this appointment or this webinar specifically, you could schedule that to go out before this appointment occurs as well. In this case, I'm going to walk through an example of sending out a survey or a feedback form after the webinar has occurred and ended. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and add my appointment type here. And now we see, if we scroll down here, my May webinar has been added to my list. I'll go ahead and, just for ease of viewing today, I'll go ahead and move this appointment type to the top of my list. All right. So I mentioned the option here to schedule forms or a form in the form of a survey or feedback or anything like that, either before this appointment occurs, after it occurs. So I, in this example, am going to schedule a survey form to go out after my webinar or my group session has occurred. So I'm going to click to my forms page quickly and just show you that form that I have built out. In this case, I've built out a Healthie form titled Feedback Survey. And if I click into this form, you'll see that I've just built out a simple example form here asking for feedback on this session. Did you find it valuable? Would you like to join future live sessions? Any additional feedback or items that you want to share? And so I can schedule this on that appointment type to go out after the session has occurred to those who attended my session. Keep in mind as well that on any of your Healthie forms, you have the option under the options button when you're in this edit view to download form responses. So after this webinar occurs, might send this out to 50 clients that joined, and I can later reference all the responses to this form by coming in here and downloading these form responses, and I can get a nice bird's eye view of what everyone replied to this form specifically. So once I've come in here and I have set up this form and this survey, I'll go back to my appointment types page, and I can actually get to my appointment types page, not just through calendar, but I can also go to my settings in the upper right-hand corner and navigate to appointment types. So now that I have that form ready to go, I'll go ahead and click back into my appointment type for this webinar here. I'll click edit under the three dots all the way to the right. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to schedule this to go out after the appointment. I'll go ahead and select my feedback survey there. And perhaps I just want it to go out immediately once I mark that session as occurred for those attendees. And I will click schedule. Now you can see that feedback survey is scheduled to go out after the appointment, and I'll update that appointment. All right. So a quick note on that form going out after the appointment type, and we'll talk through this a bit more as well when we talk through marking attendees and things like that. But in order for that form to go out, that survey to go out after the appointment has occurred, for a group session in Healthie in particular, what I'm going to want to do in terms of the workflow that I follow is that I will want to mark my attendance first, and then I will mark my appointment as having occurred. And that way it will send out that survey to all of those who have been marked as attendees on my group session. All right. And just a reminder, if you do have questions, please pop them into the Q&A section of the chat. Our team is just better able to assist you in that section since it's a bit more organized and you can see the specific answer to your question. Okay, so the next thing we're going to walk through, now that we have set up the group appointment type, and we have added in this case, I've added a survey form to go out after the webinar or the group session occurs. The next thing we're going to walk through is adding this session or webinar to our Healthie calendar. So the way that group sessions work in Healthie is that I need to actually schedule the group session myself as the provider on my calendar in order for clients to be able to see that time in that session as available to sign up for. So since I made this a May webinar, I titled it a May webinar, we're going to go ahead and navigate all the way to the month of May, and I'll maybe select May 10th here, the week of May 10th. So I'll go ahead and select the day and time that I want to schedule the session. I can do this by clicking on Add in the upper right-hand corner, or I can just go ahead and click on the time slot on my calendar. Maybe we'll add it for May 10th at 11 a.m. I'm going to toggle, instead of scheduling a one-on-one session, of course, we're scheduling a group session. So I'm going to toggle to group session, and I am going to go ahead and make sure that my appointment type of May webinar, this is going to show all of my different group appointments that I have added on my appointment types page. So I want to make sure that the appropriate appointment type is added there. And then I can make sure that these other fields are filled in how I would like them to be. First is the invitee list. So you do have the option to manually enroll people into a group session. So if, let's say, I have a client group that is made up of clients that have purchased a certain program or purchased any of my programs in the past, or any other type of client group that we want to offer this to, I could go ahead and pre-enroll that client group into this session or into this series of sessions. And that will send them the confirmation email saying that they have been scheduled for a session. I can also leave this blank and only have people enroll themselves in it through sharing the calendar link to this appointment type or through sharing a package, which we will walk through. So in this case, I'll go ahead and leave this blank. I'm just going to have people sign up as they would like to for this session. I can set a maximum number of attendees. So if I want to make sure that I max this out at 50, I can certainly go ahead and do so. And that's where our wait list would come into play as well if we do have a wait list. The contact type, of course, I'm offering a telehealth webinar, so I'll want to make sure that this is still defaulted to my Healthie video call. And you'll notice that group sessions are always using Zoom as the telehealth video platform. So Zoom is what is going to be used in order to offer group telehealth sessions in or through Healthie. All right. Day and time, make sure that's accurate. I'm not going to add any internal notes for myself, but you have the option to do so. And then we can go ahead and add our group session here. There's also that option, actually, I'll click back in because I didn't touch on that. If I go back in and edit this appointment, which I can do at any time, there's also the option to have this group session or this webinar repeat. So if I want to maybe offer a monthly occurrence of this for, let's say, 4 months, I can do that here, and that will repeat on the same day each month. But in this case, this is just my May webinar, so I'll go ahead and leave that blank. All right, and then we'll save that. So now you can see that my session has been added for May 10th at 11 a.m. And I can click in and view the details of this at any time. So I'll be able to see who has signed up for my webinar. And I can also reference the Zoom links here. So keep in mind that you as the host do have your own Zoom link where it says click to join Zoom meeting, your link here. You have your own link to join as the host, whereas clients will have a specific client link. So they will be sent this link to join the session as a client, but you can always copy this as well and share it directly with clients if ever needed. But keep in mind, you would perhaps, if you did that, want to edit this and add them to your invitee list. I mentioned that we can track attendance and send out that form after our webinar has occurred. So let's talk through that a bit. I'm going to just see if I can add several different clients to my webinar here. We'll put some individual people on there and I'll save that. Give that a moment to update. So now I have 4 clients added to that session. When I am either on the call or wrapping up the call or afterwards, and I want to go ahead and track attendance, I'm going to select track attendance and I can mark exactly who actually attended that session. And now when I go ahead and mark that my session has occurred, it will send out my form to go out to those attendees. There's also the option here, a couple different options that I like to highlight. One is chatting with participants. So if you want to send a chat message to any participants that are signed up, you can do that, as well as group charting is an option. So if you're ever hosting a group session where you do need to be charting, you can start a group charting note as well. All right. So now we have this session added to our calendar. You can, of course, share a direct calendar link, as you can with any other appointment type, for people to sign up directly to your session without paying upfront or anything like that. But in today's example, we are going to talk through adding your webinar or your group session to a package. And this gives you a lot of different options. Adding it to a package will allow you to add it to maybe an existing package. So you're offering it in addition to other services or other items, or adding it to a brand new package that is solely dedicated to this webinar, this session alone. So I'm going to navigate to my billing section, and then under billing is client packages. And here I am going to create a new package for my May webinar. A quick note here, if you will be charging or selling anything through Healthie, you will need to, you'll see my banner here popping up to add my bank account. Of course, this is a mock provider account, so I don't have any financial information set up here, but in order to process payments through Healthie, you will need to add your bank account information. So if you're seeing this banner pop up, you can click to add bank account and it will take you right to the settings page to do that. All right, so I'm on my packages page, and I mentioned I could edit any of these packages and add my webinar to that package itself. I could certainly do that, but in today's example, we're going to go ahead and just create a new package. So I'm going to make sure that my package information matches my webinar pretty well here. So first, if I want to change my cover image, I can, and then I'll go ahead and title my package my May webinar. I can add a description if I would like to. We'll just fill in some filler info here. And then I have a few more options on this package as well. First, I have an intro video. So this would be something like a description video. Maybe it's you talking about or giving some information about what you'll be covering in the webinar, or just quick slides or anything like that, where you're just describing the webinar. Totally optional. So you have the option to add that if you would like to, and that would appear embedded on the booking page or booking flow when you share this package, which we will walk through. Package visibility. This is referring to out of your active clients who can see this package as available to purchase on their packages page. So if I want all of my clients to see it as available to purchase, or in this case, sign up for, I can set it to all clients, but we can also set it to only certain client groups, or I can hide it from all clients. Keep in mind, no matter what I select here, even if I hide it from all of my active clients, I can still share the package link and have people sign up for the webinar outside of their Healthie portal. In this case, I'll leave it visible to everyone. And then I also have one more field down here, a quick automation where I can again choose to place clients into a client group when they purchase this package. So again, if I wanted to set that automation here instead of on my appointment type to say, if someone purchases my May webinar, I'm going to place them into my leads group, or maybe I have a webinar group or something like that. And I'll click continue. Next, we're going to add our included items to our package, which in this case is going to be our webinar session. But keep in mind, you can add other items to a package. So I could combine this with a program. And this is one great way as well to offer a group session or a webinar alongside a program, is having people purchase both the program and access to the session within a package. So in this case, I'm going to add a session. I'm going to add one May webinar. They're just going to purchase and sign up for one of my webinars here. And I'm also going to mark that session as bookable when they're purchasing this package. So in order to do that, I need to make sure that this setting at the very top, require appointment booking during package purchase, is turned on. And that will give me the option to mark this session as bookable. And essentially what that'll do, which we'll take a look at in a moment, is have them not only pay upfront for the webinar, but also schedule themselves for it at the same time. The renewal option here really only applies if I'm going to have this be a renewing appointment session credit. Maybe I'm having a ongoing monthly membership or subscription option. But if this is just going to be a one-time purchase, which in this example, I will make it just a one-time purchase, then we can kind of disregard that field. It's fine to have on for renew. And I'll go ahead and continue. And lastly, we're on the pricing page for our package, or in this case, for our May webinar. So for billing frequency, I am going to leave this as one time. But again, with packages in general, you have the option to set up reoccurring billing frequencies if you would like to. And then we're going to set our price for the webinar. So maybe I'm going to have a $25 registration fee. We have a little note here about what you will receive after Stripe's credit card processing fees are removed. And then I'm going to leave this as charge immediately, which is your typical purchase flow of seeing the service that you want to purchase and pay for, enter your billing information, and pay for it. But if you wanted to charge them later manually for this package or for this session, you certainly could select charge later and do that. I'll leave this as charge immediately, and we'll go ahead and create our package. All right. Before we walk through sharing our package, I do want to highlight one additional option here that I mentioned at the start of this class, which is offering promo codes. So I should preface that with, I set this, let me find my May webinar package here. I set this package to be $25. You can certainly offer free webinars or free group sessions. You could add it to a package and set it as $0. And that way it is free for people to sign up for that webinar, and you can track that package info on the package directly, but they wouldn't have to enter any billing information or be charged to sign up for it. But I did set a price to that. So if I am setting a price to my webinar, perhaps I want to offer a promo code and offer a discount for whatever reason. So again, on my packages page, I have a more button in the upper right-hand corner. And here I have the option to manage promo codes. I'm going to go ahead and create a new promo code, again, upper right-hand corner. And now I can create all the details or enter all the details of the promo code that I'm offering. So in this case, let's say I'm going to offer a discount for the first 10 people that sign up for my webinar. So I'll make this promo code first 10 people. Of course, you can get a little more creative with your promo code names, but we'll just use this as our example. I have the option for promo codes to set it for a % off or an amount off. In this case, let's go ahead and take $10 off the registration fee if we are the first 10 people to sign up. This can apply to any of my packages. I can leave it as all packages, or I could go ahead and select let's find my May webinar here. I can search it. Let's see. There it is, all the way at the bottom. All right, so this applies to my May webinar package. The number of payments would really only matter if this is a reoccurring billing frequency package. So if I, let's say, set up a monthly membership package for 6 months, my payment information here is saying how many out of those payments is this discount going to apply to? All 6 of those payments, or just one of those payments, or any variety of that. So in this case, it's just a one-time payment, so I'll just leave it as every payment. I can have an expiration date if I choose to, totally optional. And then I have my total usage limit. Again, this is optional, but in this case, I'm setting this up to be the first 10 people or usages of this promo code are going to get the discount. So if I set this as 10, the 11th time that someone goes to use this promo, they actually won't be able to apply that anymore. So I'll have this expire after 10 uses. And we will create promo code. Now I have my first 10 people added. All right. So now we have set up our promo code, we've set up our package. Let's finally talk through sharing this package and having people sign up for the webinar. So I'm going to toggle back to my packages page. I'll do a quick search for my package here. And I'm going to go ahead and share that package. I can always share multiple packages through the More button and clicking on Share Packages. There I could, let's say I have 3 different webinars that I want to, that all have their own package, and I want to share a sharing link to sign up for any or all of them. I could share those multiple packages. In this case, though, I'm just going to share my May webinar. So I'll click on Share right on the package itself. And I have a couple of options here. First, of course, I'm going to select a provider if I wanted this to be any provider other than myself. This, of course, only applies to a multi-provider practice. But in this case, I'm going to, since I have a couple of providers in my account here, I'm going to just leave it as myself. And then I can choose to either copy the code to add this and embed this on my website, or I can select the sharing link. So this first add to website option, you'll be able to, again, copy and embed code, which will really then be used to incorporate your package as part of your web page or your website. So clients will be able to purchase your package and book their webinar or appointment directly through your website. So this is a really convenient booking option. And of course, as always, once they purchase a package, no matter how we offer it, it will automatically create a client account for them within Healthie. The other option, which I'm going to toggle to and copy, is the sharing link. So this link will redirect them or take them to the booking page and the booking flow in a new tab here. They'll, of course, once they purchase it, they'll, of course, have a client account created as well. But this is convenient because you can share this link in a lot of different places. So not only could you attach this link to maybe a button on your website that says sign up for my webinar here, but you could also share it in social media bios, on link trees. You could share it directly in an email or maybe a newsletter. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can use the sharing link option. So I'll go ahead and copy the sharing link. And just to give you an idea of what my clients will see, when they click on this button, they'll be taken to that purchase flow. So of course, your page may be a little more robust, especially with this description and everything here as to what they're seeing. But my example is just simple as the title, description, the price, of course, and then they can click continue to schedule the session. So because I made the May webinar appointment type bookable when I built out this package, they will see that they are booking the May webinar. They will be taken to any availability that I have. And in this case, it's just May 10th at 11 a.m. So they will go ahead and select May 10th at 11 a.m. And then once they confirm date and time, the last page will take them to enter their name, email, and billing information so that they can purchase the package and officially register for that session. Because I'm logged into my account, it's not asking me for my name and email, and information there, but if I was not logged into a Healthie account, it would ask for that, so that if this is an active client that's already working with you and has an account with you, it'll just add that appointment to their existing profile and account. But if it is a new client that has not signed up with you yet, then it will create a new client account for them. And of course, here's the promo code field just to call out where they'll be able to enter that promo code if you do offer one. All right. So lastly, now that we have the session added to our calendar, we talk through how to share and sell the group session itself. We're going to wrap up with how to actually host the group session or video session, and just make sure that you're familiar with that. We already touched on it a bit, but I just want to kind of close with that on how to actually host the session. So again, once that May 10th date comes, we're going to see that webinar as one of our appointments on our calendar. This may be a bit repetitive since we did touch on it a bit, but we will be able to click right onto that appointment type or that session. And again, as the host, click on our link to join our Zoom meeting. This will open up a separate Zoom window for us, and we will be the host. And again, clients have their own link. So just to call out that if you do want to share this Zoom link or use this Zoom link directly, clients could just click on that Zoom link, however you share it with them, and join that way without ever having to have signed up through Healthie. But they won't, unless you add them manually, be added as an attendee on that list. We can, again, once that session occurs, track our attendance. We can update the status as having occurred and enter any notes on duration and minutes. And also keep in mind that you have the option to record your Zoom sessions, or in this case, your group session, and send that, perhaps that link or that video out to attendees afterwards. So by default, the Zoom recording, if you do choose to record the Zoom session, will download to your desktop, and you can share that in whichever way works best for you if you choose to do that. There is the option to add on iCloud recording for Zoom sessions with Healthie. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely reach out to our support team at hello@gethealthie.com, and we can get you more information about adding that to your account. And that would be HIPAA compliant iCloud Zoom recording. So if that were the case, then I record my Zoom session on iCloud, I would have an extra little field here that links to the iCloud recording. Of course, again, I, in this case, have that form going out after a session occurs. So once my session is all done, everyone will get that Zoom or that survey form to fill out. And hopefully I can get some helpful and valuable feedback from my clients on how the webinar went, how they experienced it, the value that they got out of it. And then I can use that to optimize my offerings in the future as well. All right, so I'm going to pause there for today and I'm going to scan through some questions. And even if there's any Healthie team members that saw any common questions come up that you'd like me to touch on, definitely let me know. This our Zoom class today the recording will be sent out after the session today at some point. So you will receive a recording of today's live class. So you can always reference any information that we went over today. All right. Just scanning through to see if there's any common questions that I can identify. I see a question, is there a limit on group size for webinars? So yeah, Healthie has it noted in our help guides that for group sessions through Zoom and using Healthie, there will be 100% limit. And so that is worth keeping in mind if you are offering sessions like that. If you have a need for more than 100 people and having a max limit that is higher than that, you can reach out to our team regarding that as well to see if that's anything that we can enable for your account. But typically there will be a 100-person limit on those group sessions. I saw a question, can you offer free webinars where people don't have to pay as a way to promote your services? If so, how do you make a webinar free? So yeah, maybe I already answered that, but that is another use case that is really worth highlighting in our conversation today, which is offering free webinars or free group sessions to promote your services and gain leads and get people interested in working with you. So definitely, you can as I noted, you can set a package to $0. So actually, let me go ahead and just quickly update my package that I created to show you how to do that. So if I go back to the pricing page, I'll go ahead and set this to 0. And now I could share this package directly without anyone having to enter their billing information. So now if I grab that sharing link, quickly walk through this example, it'll show as free. They can still book the session the same way that they did before. And on this page, they don't have to enter any billing info. They can just click Get Now and they will receive the confirmation for that session. Keep in mind, you can always share links directly to your calendar for a specific appointment type. So if I go to my calendar page here and click on More, there's a share and embed option for my calendar. So I can filter this one down as well, similar to how I did for a package, to my May webinar appointment type, and I could share the link directly to just booking this session. This is simply scheduling functionality. So this is just to schedule a session or sign up for that group session. They won't have the option to pay upfront like they do with packages or use a promo code or anything like that. But there is that option as well to just grab a calendar link directly to that appointment type, or in this case, directly to that May webinar. All right, let's see if we can answer one more question before we wrap up today. I see a question about email reminders and when they are sent out before sessions. So there is an appointments settings page, which is also helpful to call out. So let's walk through that quickly as our last item here. So under More, again, under our calendar page and then More, if I click to my appointment settings, there is a section in here. I definitely recommend, if you're just getting familiar with the calendar and scheduling on Healthie, going to this appointments settings page and reviewing all of the different settings here, because there are several different sections and multiple settings under each. But in this case, there is an appointments alerts section. So if we go ahead and edit our appointment alerts, we have the ability to tell the system, this is when I want you to send out appointment reminder emails. So in this case, you mentioned 1 hour before. I saw the question I was looking at mentioned 1 hour before and 1 day before. You could definitely toggle on those options, but there are a few others as well. And same with SMS reminders. If you want to be sending out SMS reminders, maybe you want it to go out 1 hour before and 1 day before, option to turn that on as well. So you can customize those reminders a bit as to when they go out. The other thing to mention while we're on this page is under video call settings. So if I go to video call settings, something that I can turn on that is specific to Zoom is using waiting rooms. So if I want to make sure that my participants are placed into a waiting room before or while they're joining the group session or the webinar, I can toggle on my waiting rooms, and that'll make sure that when someone clicks their client link to join my Zoom session, they're in a waiting room before I actually let them into the session. All right. And actually just one more really great question at the bottom that I'll answer to before, there's a lot of great questions. So I'm trying to touch on as many as we can here. But I just saw one come through. Can you record the webinar and then sell it later as a product? Yeah, certainly. You can record your webinar and then you could perhaps sell it as a product and host it in your documents section and share it with them via documents when someone purchases that product. Of course, you would always want to sell these items through your packages, so that's something to call out. But you can sell products through your packages, and maybe that product in this case is simply a document resource that you give them access to once they purchase that package. Or you can also add video recordings to programs. So if you want to build out any program, which is essentially just automated dripped out content that goes to clients, You can add video modules to programs as well. So I often see that done as well, is recordings of webinars or group sessions in programs, or even in a program, you could add the link to sign up for webinars, things like that. So you can really kind of tie together group sessions and programs pretty well. All right. I think for today, we are going to go ahead and wrap up there. Let me turn my camera back on to thank everyone for joining. Again, thank you everyone for hopping on today and for all the great questions. There will be a recording going out, so you can keep an eye out for that. But as always, we encourage you to join our live classes as well. We have a regular weekly live class series where we touch on a lot of different areas of the platform. So certainly sign up for those if interested. And if any other questions come up, you can always reach out to our support team at hello@gethealthy.com, hello@gethealthy.com, and we would be more than happy to help. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.